Well, I'm back. Whether you like it or not. You know, I'm getting ahead of myself already, but I am so grateful for this beautiful day. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to actually highlight a lot of my flaws. And I'm just so grateful for so many individuals in my life that are ready and willing to give me constructive criticisms and feedback and have tough discussion. What happened to that? What happened to agree to disagree on things and not be up in arms with one another? What happened to that? Can we reel that back in? Can we challenge ourselves to get back to that? Well, I am getting ahead of myself. Let's try to stay on point with the show notes for once, shall we? But let's just say up front, I'm trying to shift my tune. I've stepped in it, folks. And I got an apology coming up. So let's kick off that. I'm actually excited to kick it off without too much advertising because there is an intimidation factor, I'm not going to lie, when it comes to you guys just mean that much to me. And when there's a decent amount of you in the live stream, it does add pressure. And if it's a small group in front of me and we're all engaging with one another, I do really well in that environment. But when it's when you're in front of the microphone, if you're giving a speech, that's something futuristically I'm going to have to challenge myself on more. But that scares me even thinking about it. Okay. Welcome to Unmuzzled Chat. I love you all so much. Truly. We live... I thought I put this on silent. Let me put it on silent and get it out of here. We live in such a crazy world right now. I mean, look around us. And I don't know what's ahead. I believe no matter what takes place, we could achieve a perspective, a place of peace and joy. No matter what happens, you probably know where I'm going with it. So it's kind of irregardless as to what happens, but it doesn't negate what we're to do in that and how we can raise our frequency, raise our resilience in such a way that we are creating a ripple effect in our circles. But I have been humbled, and I'm becoming more realistic and at peace with the impact I can have. So I've been greatly humbled, but I do feel there are more challenges ahead, whether we like it or not. And I believe in the current state of so many in this world we live in, that's going to crush some of us. So I do feel a sense of urgency that we up our resilience, our personal, where we are personally in our lives, in our minds, in our hearts, in our spirits, even physical bodies. And we up the connections in our social groups, in our families, friends, work environments, everything, to where we are showing up with more love for one another and support for one another. Wouldn't that mortally lead to just easing the weight of these challenges that are going to come our way? So let me ask you some questions. Do you, in fact, have challenges with family or for your friends or in the workplace, church, social groups, or encounters in general? I believe we all do. Gosh dang. I sure hope what I felt impressed to get out today helps you or your relations one way or another. I see a lot of folks out there, and I have engaged in it myself, where they're engaging with their loved ones as though they're going to war with one another when we all know there's a war being waged on us out there? So it's kind of nonsensical. What are we doing turning on one another just in these brief little moments, or hanging on to unforgiveness and offense, things to that nature, for longer than we should? So I only want to play a single clip today. So naturally, this should be a very short episode. Kind of like the title. Let's try to internalize this. Are we in fact growing, or are we stuck, or are we in fact declining? And it's important. Like, we're not going to benefit anybody by projecting anything or lying to ourselves. To do a proper, thorough, personal assessment and be honest with ourselves. Visualize the only individual like really matters, like personally. I too often, when I even hear certain speeches, I'll think of an individual. Oh, this individual would really benefit from this or this or this. And I miss the most growth that is to be had in that moment. And it's applying it to me. Isn't it weird how we can more so acknowledge, see, or express other people's flaws more often than looking inwardly and acknowledging how we're kind of coming up short? So with that being said, like, just more gratitude. I'm truly grateful to be here today, and how I'm continually just being humbled each and every day. And I love that. I truly feel the ability to eat humble pie is a virtue, a skill that has been lost. It's not taught to us, at least in an effective enough way that we're not like relishing in that opportunity, right? Like, for me, I mean, how is it one wakes up and gives gratitude to God for all their flaws? Let's just say, for me, this has been a relatively new thing. I'm not coming from a place, I'm not pedestaling. This isn't earned. This is gifted. And I feel that this only gets purely accomplished through opening up to God. And it's simply, like I was saying, gifted, not earned. I hope I'm making sense. I'm still struggling articulating my thoughts, getting it down on paper and expressing it. But challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. So, to my apology, I personally have stepped in it in so many different ways on this very podcast and in my personal life. So I want to apologize to you all. And I am so sorry. I am excited for my flaws, and I'm excited because to acknowledge them and see all the flaws, and I'm not seeing them all. I'm sure of that. But with the flaws just means I have more growth to be had. So I have more opportunity in life than someone that's, let's say, more so effectively accomplished kind of the path and, I've been on. I want to take I out of it, but it's our personal. I can only really speak from my personal experience. And the more I focus on relationship with our loving Creator and with Jesus Christ, these are just becoming gifts. It's just like my heart, eyes, spirit, everything's just, it's like I'm seeing for the first time in a weird way. It's hard to articulate. But with that, there's just this peace. There's this security I've never really felt before. And when you rely on this mortal life that's ever so fleeting and individuals in this life, well, it's hard to feel secure because we're all so stinking flawed. And it leads to just so much turmoil and trauma that, shoot, even as I was trying to accomplish things in the past to people's potential benefit and sound the alarm on some things, get people organized, fight back against this evil, it's like I fell out of that faith. Anyway. So along that note, worst of all, I feel I have drugged Jesus' name through the mud. Not really knowingly. And I feel so much of us, in a way, in this flawed state, kind of do that, where our intentions could be pure. But as a representative, when we talk of Jesus, when we talk of God, when we talk about religion, and I'm guilty, I'm not really walking in the faith. I'm more so projecting it. And that could be more damning to the individuals I'm projecting that on because I'm falling short. So there's I think a more pure way we could interact with one another where we're fulfilling it. We're in that spirit, and it's not necessarily like directing or dictating or leading, trying to share. You just can only really share from your heart and your personal experiences, not your knowledge. It's like, I am kind of getting ahead of myself, I think. Yeah. I actually put thought into some of my notes here today, believe it or not. Maybe this is better put than I was trying to explain, but simply by bringing him up and walking out of faith at the same time is what has led to me kind of misrepresenting Jesus. That's why I feel I need to be probably putting a bunch of disclaimers like me being a baby Christian. I'm a baby Christian, folks. I haven't been walking in this type of light pretty much ever in my life to this degree, this extent. And every day it's just getting stronger and stronger. It's a really cool thing. By the way, let me know if I need to kill out this tunage. It kind of helps me. We'll see. Just let me know. Drop a comment in the live or in the comment section, Rumble or whatever app you're using. And yeah, I appreciate your input and value your input, because it'd be nice to create content that frankly is just more effective. And I humbly submit that I'm forever human, I'm forever flawed, and I just appreciate any input to maximize the efforts and more effectively showing up on behalf of love for one another. So I know in a huge sense I have been a poor representative in stating his name. And I don't mean, because I could see in my own life prior to knowing or feeling how I feel and walking in faith, this could be scarring. This could push, have a negative impact. An opposite impact is what I'm even trying to do, and turn people off to it more so than draw them in. But not to be disheartened. It's exciting to acknowledge these flaws, and they're beautiful flaws. We wouldn't make it without Jesus, irregardless. That's why he paid the sacrifice for us all that he did. And it's encouraging. It's beautiful. And it's exciting. And it can lead one to being grateful for their flaws. So I feel that this type of chain of thoughts could in fact be a healing thing to ponder. in our own lives and ask if we are more so projecting our faith, our beliefs, or are we securely, confidently walking in them, talking in them? The feeling and energy we are putting off in all our interactions, encounters in this life. Did we have the patience, calm, security, and love in our hearts all the way through? Let's just say that interaction or our day. There's a lot of layers to that. There's a spiritual state, an emotional state, a physical state that could all impede on us more so accomplishing this, fulfilling this. But I could see how, once again, I have been projecting at times about God and Jesus more than fulfilling and being secure. Think about it. When I'm sitting in here and I'm trying to crack the whip, sound the alarm, do calls to action, I just fell out of faith because, and I stopped being realistic with myself as to the actual impact that I could have. And I could see how that more so would land frustratingly and demoralizing than actually, let's say, lighting that spark within individuals to seize these moments and opportunities we have. So I'm really excited to acknowledge and hone in on these things because I really feel there's a lot of growth within individuals and within myself. And when you really think about it, it's like, as we process and all our relations and encounters, is it really where we want it to be? And if not, are we changing anything we're doing? So it's kind of like the definition of insanity here. We'll more on that in a bit. For too long, I have pointed the finger outwardly and not in front of a mirror or inwardly. Is that not the only direction that could truly benefit us in our lives? Most profoundly and possibly all around us. So that could be a new path to take. It would be harder because we're already programmed, indoctrinated in such a way. We want to save face. We want to, well, yeah, someone showed up with a little more patience, a little more love than another individual, and they snarked first. They barked first. So we'll excuse ourselves, point the finger at them, and then it justifies us kind of falling out of love with them. Well, how's that working out for us? Let's really sit back and assess it. Because if we really rise to the challenge, not rise above like kind of pedestaling, but rise to the actual challenge in this deeper way, it could seem harder in the moment, but wouldn't it lead to potentially better outcome? Now, we don't have any control really as to at all how the other individuals are going to take it. But once again, let's kind of assess, well, has it been working? If we're kind of in that stuck state, has that been working out? Have you achieved a level where you're just completely satisfied with it? I mean, once again, we're human, but I'm sure we could still improve things, always improve all these interactions more than we've currently got it at. You know what? I'm getting a little lost in my own brain. this would be a fun conversation with any of you futuristically. If it's something it's speaking to you in a way that you got experiences, you got situations and stories you'd like to come share that you feel would have, let's say, a more effective impact than I'm kind of spinning the wheels over in this moment, reach out to unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. I'd love to invite you on. We could do a call. We could do recorded. We could do lives. If you're in Arizona or you want to travel to Arizona, we can invite you here, even in the studio. But obviously, we could do it remote. So just email unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. Would love to have that discussion. I don't think there's any more important discussions to have. And as we get unmuzzled on other topics and things like that, with, let's say, a more enlightened state than previously, I really feel strongly that we could have a very positive impact in the world we're living in, and for our children, and for ourselves, and fulfilling why we are here. I was sitting there pondering, and I was like, how is it we, or I, most importantly, and that's how we should really ponder this, like just personalize it, can so quickly excuse myself in becoming triggered or irritable, upset, defensive, offended in these interactions. For frick's sake, I'm 40 years old now. 40 years old. I see younger individuals more so master it than I'm currently at. I still see some older people still kind of stuck. They've just developed these things, and it's like they gave up the pursuit on the personal challenging. I'm just saying, for us all, there's room to grow on all this. And I truly do believe when we hone in and focus on the relation that we could have and properly put God in the relationship with our loving creator God and Jesus, everything else falls into place, and the very outcomes I believe we are seeking are going to be achieved more so effortlessly. It'll be given. But how do we really accomplish it in this flawed mortal state if we don't gain that security and those gifts from our loving creator? It's crazy. My mind's just blown. It's like, why haven't I seen this sooner, felt this sooner? Well, it's an individual walk. And I see how, let's say, so many Christian religions are more so based in works. And it pushes people, it turns people off. I've even talked about it in the wrong light with individuals along my path. Just regurgitating scripture, unsolicited advice, things along those lines. And yeah, your intentions could be pure, but it's not of works. If we really just focused on the relation and we were living that out more so than projecting it, wouldn't it naturally have that impact in people? Like, what is it you don't have or you have that I don't? Like that testimony from Joshua. I love that. If you haven't seen that episode, he was just recently on, and it was amazing. That moment he had with his wife. And he told it better than I can. So check out that episode with Joshua. I think he even went more in depth prior to us kicking off the episode in a private chat. So I'd love to have him on and get more in depth about it. But the way he articulated it to me, so sorry, Joshua, if I get any of this incorrect, you can correct me at any point. But it was so powerful that he was expressing these conflicts, these tensionous moments he was having with his wife. And it's like, I mean, I can only express it from what I've experienced. It was like individuals recently, God keeps putting people on my path that it's like he's speaking through them, and it's piercing through any of my walls, armor, whatnot, and like touching my heart. And it's leading to great breakthrough. And clearly in this moment, like his wife must have been like channeling what God wanted to tell Joshua, because as he was trying to engage with her in a situation, Well, almost as though, do you not love me? Like, what is going on? Why are you not? And that's where she just kind of stopped him and was like, Joshua, you know all about religion. I know Jesus. And when he was personally talking to me, the way he expressed, he's like, James, this crushed me. I wanted to lash out. I wanted to do all these things, but it strung such a chord of truth within my body. Like I couldn't do anything other than just really be stuck on that. But that changed a whole new path for him. Obviously in prayer, you could just see it with his testimony and the light he has to share with us all, with even greater challenges. Well, it's not a competition, but I do view the challenges he's faced in ways more challenging than I've personally experienced. Now, I've had, yes, other pretty great challenges, but I still have the use of all my limbs. So to be half paralyzed and be in a more positive place than I've been, it's like it just really shined the light. And I was at a place I could absorb it and be like, wow, I must do better. I can and know I can do better. And it's more than me. It's relying on God, like how Joshua now sought knowing Jesus. Just, I mean, if you really ponder it, it's quite a beautiful thing. So shouldn't we all ask ourselves if we are revolving or evolving? Evolving could be kind of maybe not the best word. So are we fulfilling insanity? Doing the same things, expecting different results? Or are we going to be able to acknowledge the trap we've been in, break out of that trap, and start growing? So let's ask ourselves, doesn't growth only truly happen when we challenge ourselves? I believe that's where the most growth takes place. How does one grow without challenging themselves? You would be stagnant. You more so would be trapped. You got to challenge yourself to grow. We should be excited. And how it's not a challenge in a scary pressure type thing. It's to our benefit. It's to everyone we love's benefit. So that being said, let's go ahead and pull up the clip I've queued up for this episode. Not even I just felt impressed to share with you. Shout out to Eric. As I was communicating some of these amazing breakthroughs I felt in healing within the family at a funeral, he felt impressed to share this with me. And I'm so grateful for it. So here we are. Let's share it with you and not mess around. So it's a very short clip, but I'd hope hopefully this will speak to you and we can challenge ourselves in the message here. Let's go ahead and play.
What I want you to do is for the next week, I want you to treat everyone that you meet as if they were Jesus in disguise. And the guy left the lecture and he went home and, he gets home and, mom's there doing the dishes and he thought to himself, well, if this were Jesus in disguise doing the dishes, I'd probably go up and help my mom do the dishes. And then dad came home from work and rather than ignore him, he said, hey dad, how was work? How's everything going? And, because if that were really Jesus in disguise, I would do that. And then they're eating dinner together with the family and there's one hamburger left. And he turns to his brother and says, hey, why don't you have this? And the guy told me his life was completely transformed by literally 1 week of acting in this sort of way. What I want you to do is for the next week.
Wow. All right. That's so good. We're going to play it here in a bit. But can we challenge ourselves for at least 1 week to treat everyone that we meet as if they were Jesus in disguise? Let's think for a second. How would that change everything? Would this not lead to solving our own issues in ourselves? Possibly eventually lead to solving the problems with all our relationships? Just to think back on Joshua's testimony even.
What I want you to do is for the next week, I want you to treat everyone that you meet as if they were Jesus in disguise. And the guy left the lecture and he went home and, he gets home and, mom's there doing the dishes and he thought to himself, well, if this were Jesus in disguise doing the dishes, I'd probably go up and help my mom do the dishes. And then dad came home from work and rather than ignore him, he said, hey dad, how was work? How's everything going? And, because if that were really Jesus in disguise, I would do that. And then they're eating dinner together with the family and there's one hamburger left. And he turns to his brother and says, hey, why don't you have this? And the guy told me his life was completely transformed by literally 1 week of acting in this sort of way. What I want you to do.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. I can continually replay that. Music has a beautiful way of piercing, so that subtle little beautiful sound in the background and that voice just adds to the words. And I love that. So very powerful clip. I put the link below if you feel like just sharing that in your own personal. Let's challenge our loved ones. Send that out to the family and be like, I don't know, if you're gathering during the holidays or something, we could put dates on this or whatnot, or just subtle little personal challenges. I sent it to a few people at this point and just said challenge accepted on my end. So it's fun to see them responding, challenge accepted as well. At least 1 week, folks, just to see. I'm going to keep it to this clip, even though I'd like to pull up other challenges like the power of prayer, how that actually has led to scientific it doesn't even make sense. Like scanning the brain before a week or two of intentional prayer and then scanning after. How is it this individual has more neurons? How is their brain healed? So there's a whole other beautiful part where, as I really reflect on the Lyme challenges and the Lyme journey, there's been no greater healing that has taken place through doctors, thousands and thousands, over $100,000 in doctors and supplements and treatments, protocols. Then the healing that's take place, opening that door to God. We discredit. Jesus doesn't need to be here in the flesh to fulfill the miracles he performed. It's like he just provided us enough evidence that we can take it serious and apply it in our own lives. And that's why I love this little chapel. I'm going to dive into this book. It's just a whole bunch of testimonies. Is that through prayer and seeking that relation, miracles taking place, miracle after miracle after miracle. And I can't wait to dive more into that. Shout out to Caitlin. Thank you. She actually bought this book for me. And it's funny, in her message recently, hey, have you been reading the book I got you? So powerful, so beautiful. Just be sure to have a tissue box next to you. So consider yourself warned if you end up getting that book. But can we muster up gratitude for the flaws we have and acknowledge all the growth to be had? And let's grow. Let's not be trapped. Frick, my heart goes out to those that are downgrading, deteriorating. How did we word it on this episode? Declining. Been there. It's not a direction we should head in. But when we're so absorbed into this life, body pain, financial stressors, relationship stressors, because we don't have God or Jesus is the top priority, and have felt that love and peace, that security, well, yeah, you can see how being absorbed in this life can lead to that decline. Been there. I don't know why he's shown up and didn't give up on me. I didn't deserve it. I suppose none of us really did. But paid that ultimate sacrifice irregardless. So once again, let me ask you this. Has what you are doing worked to complete satisfaction or not? Has it? Well, I really feel if anyone was truly being honest with themselves, they'd be like, you know what? There's always room for improvement. Even if they love their wife, they love their family, there could be a little more light, a little more grace and security on both ends that would just bless their children. And you just don't even know the impact, especially fathers, the impact you could have on all your siblings. Let's be excited to break these generational curses. I get it. It's like they were victims of circumstance themselves, and we're to grant them grace too. But there's biblical scripture, I should have queued it up, where God himself is speaking out. I don't even know specifically who it was talking about it, but it talked on how crucial it is for fathers to gain the respect of their children. And if you really unpack that, how do you get it? Can you get it through dictating? Being a tyrannical ruler and out of fear? No, ultimately, as they mature and go into adulthood, is by living a respectable life, being a respectable man. And the scripture speaks out on, if a father hasn't gained the respect of their children, that solely lies on the father's shoulders. It's beautiful to acknowledge. To acknowledge the responsibilities and opportunities, just everything this life has to offer. So, if not completely satisfactory, why not give this a try? At least a week. All our encounters. I mean, actually think about that. Jesus paid the ultimate sacrifice for us all to make it, and that we can achieve total, utter forgiveness. So in a way, in our interactions, it's like, since Jesus was crucified for all of us, he is in disguise in our loved ones. He is. And who are we fooling? Being so good at projecting Christianity, but falling out of the... How do you say it? Help me out. Chime in, will you? It's... Where's that note? Of course, maybe I should start typing up my notes because my handwriting's freaking terrible. But it's falling out of that faith, falling out of that security, but we're projecting. So like I was expressing earlier, how I've admittedly dragged Jesus' name through the mud. Not knowingly, not intentionally, but wow, has it been eye-opening to see how I've been a bad representative. And if we're just regurgitating biblical verses and things and we're not just really walking in that faith, it could be very scarring to those we're trying to bless. So I'm very excited to challenge myself on that clip. Be sure to send it far and wide. That clip, oh my gosh, what a gift when you really sit on it. Ponder. Let's do the Jesus is Calling. December 9th. Man, time flies. This life is so fleeting. It's a beautiful, humbling truth that we're all visiting here. I love to ponder that. Today's read states, be willing to go out on a limb with me. If that is where I'm leading you, it is the safest place to be. Your desire to live a risk-free life is a form of unbelief. That's what I was trying to wrap up right there. Thank you for helping me out, book. Your longing to live close to me is at odds with your attempts to minimize risk. You are approaching a crossroad in your journey. In order to follow me wholeheartedly, you must relinquish your tendency to play it safe, being stuck. Why are we doing that? Has evil gotten that effective to diminish our physical state and mental state that's what's led to losing this? Has it more so been just the directness of taking God, prayer, Bible out of schools? What is it? Help us hone in on that. And we can acknowledge, and then the more we acknowledge the roots of a lot of these issues will help pave the way out of there, right? Let me lead you step by step through this day. If your primary focus is on me, you can walk along perilous paths without, we'll continue. Perilous paths without being afraid. Eventually, you will learn to relax and enjoy the adventure of your journey together. That's it. As long as you stay close to me, my sovereign presence protects you wherever you go. There it is. I do believe more challenging days are ahead. This potentially could be one of our greatest tools as we up the resilience in all of us, in security, in our loving Creator. And stop the dang projecting. Like, live it, know it, breathe it, every moment of every day. I need more Jesus apparel. I'll check out Black Eagle apparel. Alex, he's got a bunch of it. Also Stand Up Now, he's got a bunch of it. You can follow the prompts below. You'll get discounts. I had compliments wearing a God made, and it had the kind of bathroom sign of a man and a woman. Yeah, need to get more of that apparel. There's 3 biblical references I challenge you to check it out. We got Psalm 23:4, Psalm 9:10, and John 12:26. I know even in this moment, I'm nowhere near where I should be or need to be, but I'm just grateful for the breakthroughs that are happening nonetheless. And did I earn them? Do I deserve them? No. They were simply gifted. And I just have more and more excitement to continue this path or any path He leads me on. I just hope that this resonated to one degree or another. Help us acquire more tools, polish them off, so the days ahead become brighter no matter what comes our way. I truly love you all. I want the best version of you. I want the best life you can live while we're here. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so let's make the best of today. With that, may our loving Creator bless you, and until next time, take care.